the ability to change the rules.
Free Press is here, and I'm here to be in community. We at Free Press are working for media justice and to ensure that we're creating systems that uplift the voices of people of color as they're doing this kind of work. And so it's really important for us to be here, to be in community, to build relationships, to deepen with one another, to really listen and hear what's going on and what people need out of their media.
We did a panel today to talk about issues with race in the media. That's really what Race Forward is about. It's trying to understand how systemic and institutional racism has impacted people of color because we have a media system that wasn't never ever created for us. And so we had a discussion about that. And we wanted to have a conversation about what the role of media makers of color are or people involved in creating narrative to tell the story of race in media and how race in media is impacting our society. We talked about the Kerner Commission report because it's the 50th anniversary of the Kerner Commission that found that the media contributed to the division in the country back in 67, 68 with all the rebellions, urban rebellions that were happening across the country. I think people were into it. People had a lot to say. People have a lot of feelings about their media system, what's not working for our communities. And so we wanted to have that discussion while continuing to have people look at the issues of structural institutional racism. And that's what we did.
What brought you to the panel on race in media? Why is it important to you?
Because I'm a storyteller. And because my children are storytellers and they're teens and they've inherited this mess that we call America. And I want to do whatever I can do to help them have a better go at it. And I know that images and words are very powerful and have a very powerful impact on how we do our lives here in this country. We all are addicted to our screens. And if that's the medium that it will take to make the change that we need, then I'm all for trying to find out how to have the biggest impact,
So I was asked to be on the Kerner at 50 panel, and I thought it was excellent. I think that the way in which we set it up and the way that it turned out, I think people got a lot of questions answered. Not everybody is studied in that type of stuff. And I think the way that we pulled history as well as media and how working through these pieces is important for our liberation, and that trauma is a part of all of this stuff too. That if we don't acknowledge that white body supremacy is actually traumatizing, it's going to be hard for us to heal from it.
Well, I was part of this conversation a few weeks back, and someone asked the question, what would like a Wakanda of the media landscape look like? And a couple of people were responding basically that you need more media companies and media conglomerates that are owned and run and led by people of color, and like how that really would change a lot of the discussions and dynamics when it's not people fighting to be heard and fighting to get their voices, elevated, but rather they're the ones in control and determining whose narratives get told.
So Wanda, tell me about your bookshop, just what it is and why it is.
Well, my bookshop is called Book Your Life. And it is a bookshop, which is distinct from a bookstore. And a bookstore, you go to buy pre-made books. In my bookshop, you come to make your own books. So I provide self-publishing services for aspiring authors who want to, have their stuff put out there, but they don't know how to do it. I will walk you through the self-publishing process.
Why did you want to be at Facing Race, and why did you think it's important to talk about race in the media?
Well, for me, Facing Race has been, for me personally, one of the most important conferences, probably the most important conference I've been attending for the past decade or so since I've been at Free Press, and attended the first one since 2008. I kind of feel like this is a place where racial justice leaders can gather to really talk substantively about the issues that deals with the actual systems of oppressions and structural and institutional challenges that we face as communities of color. more so here than any other conference I've ever been to. Too often, the discussions are often just they're important discussions, but discussions about representation and how we should have more of us doing something. But here they go a step further. They talk about how dreaming of a system that's for us and the importance and the need to have institutions and policies and a society that actually works for people of color.
So we are in times that require us to do risky things, assess what risks we can take, and take them all the time. After listening to all of that, I think the spirits are saying, let us practice. Let us practice doing something risky, like moaning together. Our affirmation.
We have to reimagine revolution and think not only about the change in our institutions, but the changes we have to make in ourselves. We are at the stage where the people in charge of the government and of industry are running around like chickens with their heads cut off. And it's up to us to reimagine the alternatives and not just to protest against them and expect them to do better.